Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crash Zoom. I'm Sammie Purcell, Associate Editor with Rough Draft Atlanta, and I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Aaron Strand. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing pretty good, Sammie. I'm doing pretty good. By the time this episode airs, I'll have just screened Godzilla at Athens Cine. What a night!
Ooh.
What a night for cinema. Magical
Night.
evening.
I can already tell. It'll be perfect.
Exactly.
That'll be fun. I wish I could get up there, but I don't think I'll be able to. But I need to watch Godzilla.
Have you seen the original Godzilla?
I have not, no.
I mean,
Godzilla's a big blind spot for me. I saw Godzilla -1, and I've seen a couple of like shitty, Kong versus Godzilla, that kind of stuff. But like, not a ton of the OG stuff.
I mean, I am like a big evangelist for the original Godzilla as a masterpiece of cinema. I really feel that way. In preparing for the show, I have come to learn that like many people, particularly of the younger generation, like do not get it. Like they do see it as like this like boring old like stupid silly thing, which is which is just like so. It's really mind blowing to me because I think it's just like its qualities are just so apparent and it's also it's so hard to put ourselves in the perspective of a filmmaker or audience member of 1954 when giant monster movies were not a thing. Like, can you imagine a world where like giant monsters didn't exist in popular culture?
If someone has to like think of it first, like that's like kind of the crazy part. Someone came up with that.
Yeah, totally. No. I mean, and granted, like King Kong came out in 1933, like, 20 years before, but it's also like at a time when like movies back then, King Kong came out in 1933 and people who saw it in the theater loved it, and then no one saw it for 20 years. They did a re-release of it in 1952. But can you imagine like living in a world where it's like you would have to listen to like your cousin or your dad or something being like, I saw this incredible movie. There was a giant gorilla. It climbed the Empire State Building. And like, but you can't watch it.
You can't watch it. Yeah.
You can't watch it.
You're having kind of an existential crisis about that now that you say it. I'm like, what if I lived in a time when I couldn't just like watch a movie?
Notting Hill would not be instantly accessible. Like you would be talking about Notting Hill from your childhood. Still like and you would still have like your childhood vision of Notting Hill in your head and you'd be telling people about it.
Yeah. There's this girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. All right. Anyway, enough talk about Notting Hill. I don't want to cry on mic. So let's move on. Anyway, if this is your first episode of Crash Zoom, welcome. What Aaron and I do here is we talk about what's going on in the film industry on a big picture level and try to boil down why that matters to the independent artist. And if you listen today and you like what you hear, you can hit that subscribe button, please. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube at Crash Zoom Podcasts and be sure to rate and review as well. That really helps us out. So the topics for this week's episode or today's episode, we're going back to AI, such a happy place to be, but we've got a couple of stories to kind of jump into. So the first is going to be all about America's AI Action Plan, which was recently revealed by the Trump White House. Funnily enough, I actually got this story from the Daily's newsletter about a week ago, I think. And, this plan wasn't aimed at Hollywood. I think let's start there. So, like, I don't think, unless you want to, I don't know if we're going to dive into some of the, like, more specifics of it. But I think what's interesting about this is that, it's not aimed at Hollywood, but obviously AI affects Hollywood. We've been talking a lot about some of the recent copyright lawsuits that have not really gone, authors or creators' ways over the past few weeks, months, whatever it might be. And this plan, I searched for the word copyright. It is nowhere to be found. There's nothing about copyright in this plan. And, looking at the Daily's newsletter, they quoted Donald Trump at an AI summit. I'm not sure where it was, but he basically said that requiring AI companies to pay for copyrighted content used in training is simply, quote, not doable. So, quote, you can't be expected to have a successful AI program when every single article, book, or whatever you studied, you're expected to pay for, end quote. So and that's from our president, Donald Trump. Yeah, so let's just start there. This AI plan, I've read through it, kind of skimmed through it a little bit. It's very tech positive, I'd say, like very tech friendly. Um,
That's putting it
yeah.
lightly.
Yeah, so let's start there. How you feeling?
Oh, well, I'll let me read this opening paragraph from
All
the
right.
AI action plan. Winning the AI race will usher in a new golden age of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security for the American people. AI will enable Americans to discover new materials, synthesize new chemicals, manufacture new drugs, and develop new methods to harness energy, an industrial revolution. It will enable radically new forms of education, media, and communication. I'm slipping into Donald Trump's voice. I'm so sorry. An information revolution. And it will enable altogether new intellectual. Oh, I'm sorry, stop. Okay. And it will enable altogether new intellectual achievements, unraveling ancient scrolls once thought unreadable, making breakthroughs in scientific and mathematical theory, and creating
Who
new
wrote
kinds of
this?
digital and then creating new kinds of digital and physical art. A renaissance, an industrial revolution, an information revolution, and a renaissance all at once. This is the potential that AI presents. So that's the tone of
Mhm.
this action plan, legally non-binding, but sort of a policy roadmap, if you will. I've always been told if it's too good to be true, then it is. And this is given big too good to be true vibes over here.
Mhm.
What's your response to the overall tone and timbre of this wonderful piece?
I mean, not good. I just think like, you know,
You're not excited to unravel ancient scrolls once thought unreadable?
no, I can't say I am. I just think like this is such a blatant like I don't know, this is such blatant pandering to big tech. No, like this is ridiculous. This doesn't feel
This
like it like literally has the words like let me find this. There's literally a section called quote remove red tape and onerous there we go regulation. Like that's literally like a section of
yeah.
this plan. you
Yeah.
know, it's just
It,
it's
it's
not
it,
good.
Yeah, let's be real. It's a Silicon Valley wish list of
Yeah.
talking points. The tech bros that paid for Trump and JD Vance to be in the White House are getting their return on investment. Now, again, not legally binding, but it's a glowing sort of vision of deregulation and AI adoption from the government and forcibly exporting American AI onto our allies. So I'll run through a couple talking points real here of sort of like
Yeah.
what they want to do. Like as you said, no mention of copyright in this entire thing. That the courts will deal with that, but the courts have already
Mhm.
been delivering favorable readings, so it's almost like they didn't really need to poke the bear here. Major things that they want to do: government empowering the private sector. This is again not. This is not. Some people have described this as a Manhattan Project level sort of effort, but that was a government-led effort, and this is the government trying to enable the private sector. Yeah, they want to remove all red tape or checks and balances from AI adoption, both by individuals in the private sector and the government as well. They want to federally fund AI initiatives on the state level, but they will also be limiting any states that have state level AI regulations, and they will be cutting off money from those states. They are do a little bit of pandering to sort of saying that they are a jobs first White House. They're worried about
Mm.
people losing jobs, so they talk a big game about they want to increase AI education for the workforce so that this new American workforce will know how to integrate AI into the workplace. They want the FTC tasked with terminating any existing investigations that, quote, advance theories of liability that burden AI innovation. I think that hints at some of the copyright stuff that we've been talking about for oh so long.
Mhm.
They also have this is also following up a White House executive order that is preventing woke AI. They instruct developers to, quote, eliminate references to misinformation, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and climate change from their
Yeah.
models.
No regulation unless you're talking about climate change.
They also want to increase exporting of American AI, forcing allies to use American AI, and using tariffs as a cudgel for those who are slow to adopt American AI. And then they have a whole bunch of other stuff about curtailing China's influence that is
Yeah.
really sort of like in opposition to the efforts that the Biden administration took to curtailing China's AI capabilities. So that's a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and it all feels quite dark. I mean, I don't know what am
Yeah.
I supposed to say? There
I know. I'm sort of like, man, it's just it was a sad thing to put this in here, but I do think like it's something we should probably touch on just because, for putting themselves as jobs first, quote unquote. There's like nothing in here about like, and we're talking about Hollywood specifically, but for any other industry that might be like disrupted about from AI, there's nothing in here about like job security and like how we can actually save jobs for like the humans who live here, et cetera, or how like people's, you know, how the workforce, I guess, is going to be affected by this type of thing because I don't
they
think they really care.
completely they completely disregard. They say
Yeah.
no jobs will be lost because of AI. This is a tool. This is about training people to use AI in their existing jobs,
Hmm.
and which are really like it's all ideological, just proclamations about, but not addressing in any sort of depth or substance, sort of real time issues that we're already seeing happening. It also, I mean, the most dystopian element of this whole thing is that by most estimates, the U.S. will require is by by most estimates, within 5 years, the U.S. will have to produce 25% more of our current energy output to fuel this AI boom at the rate we're currently on. And
Hmm.
the Trump administration wants to do all of this with fossil fuels by gutting any sort of government assistance to sustainable energy, all while fueling models that deny that climate change is real when we all are experiencing in our lifetime the actual effects of climate change.
I
This
was like,
is
we have literally been talking about how hot we've been.
dude, this is like
Yeah,
it's just it's really crazy. It's really crazy. I am not out here to be. I'm not. I try not to be an anti AI alarmist,
I know.
and I do kind of get frustrated when like I'll see a independent creator post an AI generated photo on their Instagram, and then someone will get in the comments and being like, "Thanks for contributing to climate change." Like that's a fucking stupid thing to say. In my opinion, that's a stupid response to that person posting that piece of content. But when speaking on the macro level and sort of like
Right.
these national these national action plans of what they want to do, like it is a very real component, and it is very, very dark.
No, it's so incredibly dark. And you're right. Now I'm like, what else do I want to say about this besides it being dark? But I guess you are right about they're just kind of willing to let, I guess, don't poke the bear is the correct terminology, just sort of willing to let like everything about fair use play out in the courts because it seems it's going to go their way. So why?
It's it,
No.
yeah, it really is. Look, like this country is more. I mean, this country. There's always been corruption in this country. There's always been corruption in
Hmm.
in every country. We are watching these big tech firms, OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, um, essentially buy this world altering policy
Yeah.
um, from the United States government. And it is quite a sight to behold. I still
Yeah.
have, but we still have yet to see how any of this has played out. Look, like the salesmen and women of AI are very good. They really
Yes.
know how to sell it. Like they know how to sell it because they don't even talk about it purely in glowing terms. Like this action plan is not the way that the AI moguls talk about AI. AI
Hmm.
moguls talk about AI with this like element of danger. You know, like every time ChatGPT comes out with a new model, they're like, we don't even know
The
if we should
world
release
is gonna
this.
change.
Well, no, they lean into the dystopianness. They're like, we
Right.
don't know if we should put this out. Like this could this could actually run amok. We don't know if we can control it. And it's like all that does is drive interest in this sort of like perverse like curiosity for the product when it like it's it's a speech imitator. Like it just spits
Right.
out the next word. Like, like it's just crazy watching this like sales pitch happen in real time, and now it's coming directly from the White House. I mean, but of course, Donald Trump was like shilling Teslas like not 3 months ago, so
Right.
not that any of this is surprising.
It'll be interesting to see how because I think I haven't seen, and I just Googled to make sure, but I haven't seen any like huge updates in the Disney and NBC Universal copyright AI lawsuit, which is mentioned in the other kind of AI related thing that we're gonna talk about today. If you're good to move on, but
Yeah, let's
okay,
get out of this
cool.
fucking digital
Just
action
something
plan.
something very strange. Anyway, so this next article is from Variety, and it's all about Showrunner. So, what is Showrunner, you might ask? So, Showrunner is an AI generated TV service. It's being hyped as like the Netflix of AI, according to this Variety article. And it was created by a guy, or it is from the company of a guy called Edward Sachi. And essentially, what's funny to me is I'm going to hop over here for a minute because I don't know if you remember this, but like 2 years ago, or maybe even longer ago than that, Joe Russo, who, directed a bunch of Marvel movies, etc., like
The genius
gave
Joe
this
Russo.
gave this quote where he was basically like, within 2 years, your TV is going to be able to like make a romantic comedy starring you and Marilyn Monroe, is like kind of the essence of the quote. And that is like very close to what Showrunner is actually attempting to do. I don't know if I can't remember if there's anything in here about like inserting yourself into the episode, at least
There
not
is.
yet. Or is there? There
Yeah.
is? Cool.
Oh yeah.
So this service basically will let you type in some words to create scenes or entire episodes of a TV show. And you could do that from scratch or based on an already existing story slash world slash whatever that someone else has created. So Joe Russo, purveyor of the future, I guess.
Well, we already knew that. We already knew he was a seer.
Yeah, but so that's what Showrunner is. I'll stop there. What did you think? What do you think about all this? What do you make of Showrunner?
Man, well, I will say I know earlier in the week I didn't do my homework and I didn't watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Still haven't watched it, but I did go down a rabbit hole of watching Showrunner shorts on
Oh
Vimeo.
my gosh, I didn't do any of this.
Woof. This is like not even like how like most like there's always a talking point with AI and like a
Mhm.
selling point where there people are like this is the worst it's ever going to be. Just think about that, right? This is like
Mhm.
not even that catchphrase can save this crime against drama. Like these things are. I watched the extended series called Everything Is Fine, which is about a millennial couple who goes to
Oh yeah.
IKEA, gets into a fight, and then like are transported into like an interdimensional IKEA. These things are absolutely god awful. They commit every flagrant sin of bad writing
Mhm.
imaginable. You have characters talking at each other with no discernible plot or story movement going forward. There's no discernible through line. The conflict is completely surface level and based on just like little debates of speech between two characters, but it doesn't amount to anything. It doesn't add to anything. It's just
Mhm.
two characters talking at each other for no greater purpose and no greater reason. And I'm not saying that those elements can't be programmed in or like
Mhm.
an AI can't learn, the elements of a 3-act structure, but it's amazing to watch that these shorts really sound like a sort of a first time screenwriter attempting to write their very first movie.
Well, I would assume that's sort of what it is. Like, I'm reminded of like I think we talked about this last year. It was sort of Ben Affleck was at some convention and he was talking about how like this kind of stuff, basically his hope that this kind of stuff will never replace like actual television or actual movies or etc. It's like basically a way for like just a regular person to be like, what if I was in South Park? Or like, which is like I think it's key that they are charging people to use it, but they're not going to charge anyone to watch this stuff because why would you charge someone to watch? Like, why would I pay to watch some person be like, what if I was in Notting Hill? Like, why would someone pay to watch me be like, what if I was in Notting Hill? You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like right now, the actual things that the program, the AI
Hmm.
is generating are so truly awful that
Right.
I don't think anybody. Look, I could see that maybe there's some novelty value of like what would it be like to insert my buddy into an
Hmm.
episode of South Park and have Eric Cartman like roast him, in a
Right.
scene, and then I can post
Yeah.
that on social or like in a group
Sure.
chat, yada yada yada. But that's like novelty value, and I don't really know if that's really scalable for like an actually profitable company. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that is not scalable for a profitable company. What I will say
I
though, oh, you disagree?
No, I do agree. I was gonna say I agree, but at least according to this article, that seems to be what Saatchi is sort of going for, like a new entertainment medium, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, like he has this vision for I have a quote right here. He has a vision for okay, he said yeah, quote, people are interested in putting themselves and their friends into these stories. That was a surprise. We didn't design it with that in mind, but people want to be in fictional worlds and also want to tell stories about themselves. The platform allows showrunners to experiment with their stories in real time, constantly iterating and refining their vision. Um, oh, here we go. Here's the thing that I was really looking for. Quote, Hollywood streaming services are about to become two-way entertainment. Audiences watching a season of a show, loving it, and they will now be able to make new episodes with a few words and become characters with a photo. Our relationship to entertainment will be totally different in 5 years. I just, I fundamentally disagree with this take. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think people want to put in the work. Like it's already too people already feel burdened by the work of sifting through tiles on Netflix deciding what to watch. You think they want to pitch an idea to an AI algorithm that's then going to shit you out like a disappointing product and that you want to iterate on it? Yeah, maybe like a few nerds want to do that to get a clip that they could share in their group chat. To like roast their fantasy football
Mhm.
buddy. But like I do not see this being I don't see the vision for two-way entertainment. It's too active.
Yeah, I think that's a really sort of, his hypothesis is reaching, I'd say. I can see a world where again, like, like we talked about sort of like on TikTok, and I think you can still do this. You can like turn yourself into a Studio Ghibli character. You can turn yourself into a Pixar character, et cetera, et cetera. And like you said, I can see a world where someone is like, oh, it might be fun to like put my friend in an episode of SpongeBob and show it to them. But I don't see it becoming something that people go to like be thoroughly entertained. And maybe that's me not understanding what people want, but I think I do, and I don't think it's necessarily that. It feels more like a novelty rather than like an
Yeah, it's a
actual form of
gimmick.
entertainment. Yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
gimmick. And like that's the thing is that like with all this sort of stuff like people keep reaching for the gimmicks and like gimmicks are really good for going viral like the chat gpt doing the studio
Mhm.
giblify your picture. It's a gimmick, went viral. At the core people keep coming back to chat gpt because they want help writing their emails. And like that's a
Yeah.
real like practical skill that
Resumes.
people that yeah,
Yeah.
resumes, legal, little bullshit legal documents or essays or whatever. Like, that there's a real use value there. The
Mhm.
Ghibli is just the gimmick is just the hook to like, you know, be more shareable, but you can't base an entire company around a gimmick.
Well, it's so funny because after that, that quote where he says, our relationship to entertainment will be totally different the next 5 years, the next paragraph down says, that said, Sashi expressed some doubt about whether people really want to be their own showrunners. Maybe nobody wants this and it won't work, he said. So like,
Well,
he's
he's
just like,
he he's the former head for Oculus's VR
Oculus.
entertainment
Yeah.
entertainment division, which was consummately folded like 3 years after it was launched, and
Right.
he says it didn't work. Um,
Right.
I don't mean to rag on this guy. Like clearly he has an ability to sort of pitch people a vision and get VC
Mhm.
investment and get people on board, and Amazon invested into this company.
Yeah.
But I am not buying what he's selling. I don't really see the use case value here. And when you go and actually look at like the things that their AI is churning out right now, it is brutal. This is a rough
I know.
watch,
It
y'all.
makes
It
me
is a
wanna go
rough
look.
watch. Oh,
It
dude,
makes me wanna go look.
it is painful. It is yeah, spend some
Mhm.
time on the Fable Vimeo channel. It is rough.
Oof. All right. Maybe I'll do that if I'm feeling down and wanna laugh.
No, no,
All
that's the
right.
problem, Sammy. It's not even
It's not
so
even
bad it's
funny?
funny.
Oof.
It's
Oof.
it is
Rough.
just cringe inducing, which is why I think like if that's the product of the model that they're rolling out when they like cuz they say they're rolling out the actual model like it's getting out of beta
Right.
testing.
Mhm.
If that's what the new model is producing, this thing is going to be dead on arrival.
It's not gonna, the putting your friend into an episode of South Park when all the South Park characters look like potatoes is not like a fun way to spend your time, or whatever they look like,
Agreed.
All right. Do you have anything else on either one of these?
No, just just loving the future,
Loving it.
loving the new
Future.
AI overlords, and I'm just so happy that democracy works the way that it was intended.
Wow, no sarcasm at all in that one.
Yeah, Sammie, have you been watching anything else? Obviously, you regaled us with your rewatches earlier in the week.
Notting Hill.
You got anything? You got anything else for us?
Yeah, I've been watching some Coen Brothers kind of blind spots because I've been listening to the Blank Check Pod, and they are doing the Coens right now. So I've been going through, and I just watched. So what have I kind of watched recently? I watched Miller's Crossing, which I wasn't like a huge fan of. I think I'm kind of allergic to like that type of gangster film, so it's not really like their fault. It's just like not my thing.
Yeah, I think it's really weak.
Yeah, but I just watched Barton Fink, which I loved. It was so weird. What a weird movie.
Yeah.
I had a great time. It was funny. I'm like in the middle of the Blank Check app right now, and they're talking about like what other movies and like stuff what other movies are there where you're like trapped in a hotel? And obviously The Shining is one of those, but it really got me thinking, like, because I think that movie is so interesting because it has like, it's not like a David Lynch movie, but it is probably like the most like Lynchy like it has like a similar sort of like vibe,
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking about, I don't know, did you ever watch The Leftovers? The Damon Lindelof.
I didn't watch The Leftovers. I'm familiar with the premise, but I don't watch TV.
It's really good. If you ever have any time, it's like 3 seasons. It's pretty short. I think he was a little traumatized after Lost, but there's an episode that takes place. It is like a similar thing like that now that I've seen Barton Fink, I'm like, oh, this is like very, very, I'm stuck in a hotel and it's hell or purgatory or whatever, and I can't get out. But it just made me like, I think watching it was interesting because I could kind of see so many people, and this is always the case, I think, with like directors like that, kind of like taking inspiration from that type of thing. Yeah, it was good. I really liked it. I think John Goodman is like awesome in that movie. He rocks.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're really, the Coens, they're really quite good. They're really quite good.
Wow. Hot take.
Their ability to jump between tones and
really
and genre
impressive.
forms, it's just really amazing. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Those guys, good.
Those guys, yeah. Well, I'm glad we've reached this thrilling conclusion of another episode. I got nothing. But Sammie, do you have any writing coming out this week that you'd like to direct us to? You got any reviews? Anything fun?
I do. So I have a couple reviews coming out this week. I haven't seen either of these movies yet, so I have no idea how I'll feel about them. But I'll have Freakier Friday coming out at the end of this week. Freakier Friday on Friday. And then also Weapons, the new Zach Kreger kind of horror movie, which I'm pretty excited for. So I hope I'm not disappointed.
I've heard it's scary.
I know the trailer kind of scares me, but the trailer for Barbarian also freaked me out, and I find that movie pretty funny. So I don't think this one is funny. The rub on this one that I've heard is that it is not funny. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But so I've got those two coming out at the end of the week.
Nice. Well, those will be linked down in the show notes, so please go check that out. But if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, rate, review. Hit us with those 5 stars. Just leave a few kind words. Those things go a really long way to helping us out. You can follow us on all the things, Instagram, TikTok, at Crash Zoom Podcast for both. You can also email us, crashzoompod@gmail.com. That is crashzoompod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Are you excited about the AI action plan? Do you feel like jumping into action from the White House's AI action plan? Let us know. As always, this has been great, Sammie. Thank you so much. And until next week, I will talk to you.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.